레그데이 했으니까 당 충전 해야죠.
제이미가 프로틴 과자 만들어줘가지고
아 너무 맛있어. 더블 초콜릿이 진짜 맛있어.
Oh, what are you guys doing?
You know, post-workout carbs.
쿠키 먹고 있어요.
Cookies?
제이미가 만들어줬어. 제이미가.
How are they?
맛있어요. 진짜
진짜
맛있어요.
맛있어요.
The double chocolate's great.
You know what else tastes great?
왜?
That tastes great.
Keto.
Howdy folks, welcome back to channel Traintrue, and today we're gonna do a little keto update and Q&A. But first, my physique update. Right now I'm about 3 months into this keto cut, and I'm down from 84 kilos to about 74 kilos, so I lost about 10 kilos of hopefully mostly fat, of course, some muscle here and there, it's inevitable. Let's just do a little physique updates. First, my normal standing pose, nothing really flexed. Double bicep, I'll do the best I can. The most muscular.
You suck at posing.
Thank you. Fired. Are there any other poses you want me to do, Jason? I know this is your favorite time. Nothing else?
Nothing else. That's good enough.
Nothing else?
I'm tired of it.
How could you be tired of this?
What is the name of your chest muscles?
Natalie Portman.
Okay.
She's very happy to see me. So, that is my physique update. I'm practically done with the diet. Maybe I'll do one more week, see how lean I can get. But 74 was pretty much my goal. 73 was like a maybe, but it's gonna be a little too hard. I don't think it's gonna be worth it for me. So now let's get to your questions.
Other YouTubers actually say lots of protein can turn into carb in the body and they can cause keto out. Is that right?
Okay. So the first question I want to address is this thing called gluconeogenesis. You know, gluco meaning sugar, neo meaning new, genesis meaning creation or generation. And you need to know that on keto, it's not dangerous to have too much protein most of the time, because gluconeogenesis is something the body does naturally. Like, it can create glucose from protein as needed. The keywords are as needed. It doesn't just do it rampantly and uncontrollably. It only does it if required. For example, the brain does need some glucose to function. It can function off of ketones slightly. I believe it's like 70%, 30% glucose, something like that. But the point is, yes, the body can create it. That's fine. And the body can create some glucose that can be stored into the muscles as well. You know, like on keto, you still have glycogen in your muscles. It's just, yeah, you have less of it, of course. So don't be afraid of this gluconeogenesis idea. I have sometimes 250, sometimes even 300 grams of protein a day if I go crazy with the meat. And I test my ketones. I'm still in ketosis every time I do that. So that's the first myth you have to bust and get rid of. If anything, if you work out a lot and lift heavy, you should keep the protein quite high. Okay, like 1 gram per pound of body weight, or even more is okay.
Diet with 200 grams of protein and say 1,900 calories is about 42% protein intake diet. I seem to develop constipation when I up my protein that high, and hence lower my fat too much. 40% seems to be about my limit, so that might be a useful topic.
Okay, very good question. On keto, because we're only eating mostly protein and fat, some people have digestion issues, and that's actually quite natural. And my best solution to it is either eat a lot of high fiber vegetables, because fiber is not really considered in the carb count for digestion because it passes through. For example, green leafy vegetables are usually quite good. But honestly, sometimes I just do carnivore style, almost entirely meat and cheese and egg, stuff like that. And my number one helper there is Psyllium Husk fiber. That thing works magic on your digestive system. Honestly, I'd recommend it for even people who are not on keto. Your bowel movements are just so much better. It isn't really counted toward your carb count either because it is fiber. And honestly, I can't go back. Like, even when I'm not on keto, I still supplement this Psyllium Husk fiber into my morning shake and my pre-workout actually.
Does Keto Flu come every time when you start keto?
All right, another great question. The biggest fear some people have at first of keto is something called the Keto Flu. And first of all, what is it? It's basically like when you first transition into keto, you kind of feel like garbage the first, maybe after like 3 days up to like a week. But the reality is that you probably didn't prepare well. I never get keto flu anymore when I transition back to keto because I know the answer to that is electrolytes. I religiously supplement sodium, potassium, and magnesium in my shakes. Check out my other videos for that if you're curious. I do it in powder form from bulk supplements. And if you supplement those properly, you can pretty much entirely avoid keto flu. And again, even when I'm not on keto, I still supplement these electrolytes and I feel so much better.
Hello, traintrue. I've been eating up to until I feel full, but I've been really not being strict with my diet with keto. I don't use macros or anything like that, but I want to still lose weight. I've been losing weight, but I want to lose more. Should I start calculating calories, or should I just say how I feel about each meal?
Okay. All right, so basically the question is, this guy or girl is on keto, and he or she has been losing weight by something called intuitive dieting on keto. Intuitive means like you're not really tracking your macros or your meals, but you're staying in keto and you're just eating until you're full and then you stop. Now, that's not necessarily bad, but if you want to consistently lose weight and hit your weight goal, you probably should calculate your macros and get in the habit. It's a good practice to develop. But honestly, the simple way is this. If you're still losing weight, keep your intuitive keto diet going. And then when you stall in your weight loss for a week or more, then you definitely have to start calculating your macros because when your body weight changes a lot, your macros are not the same as before. I've had to reduce my macros slowly throughout this diet. At first I did eat intuitively like you because I was just transitioning back into keto.
I've been on keto for 1 week, and I've been doing like same strength training just like you. Does it feel different when you go for PR attempts compared to meals with the carbs?
Okay, well, you've been on keto just 1 week. That is not nearly enough. People are very different, but let's say you do everything correctly and you supplement electrolytes and you're quite strict. You should give it at least 2 to 4 weeks to fully transition into keto. Sometimes people take up to 2 to 3 months to feel pretty normal. But once you've hit that stage, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. You probably are gonna be a little bit weaker on keto versus a carb-based diet because sugar just is kind of a more explosive energy source, but you can get very close at least to your optimal strength level. Me, for example, right now, I'm still hitting almost exactly the same bench 1 RM as I did at 84 kilos and now it's 74. But I do feel like my reps, like a higher rep sets, are suffering because I'm not on carbs. So I guess to answer your question simply, give it more time, and you should expect a little performance loss even when you fully adapt, but not too much for the 1RMs, unless you lose too much body weight. But reps, I think they will suffer a little bit.
Next question, what kind of protein powders are you taking right now?
Okay, so that's a simple answer. Protein powders I'm using right now are both from My Protein, because honestly, they're quite high quality in my opinion. They come in big bulk size, and I eat a lot of protein, and they taste all right for me. So they get the job done, but I use two types from them. I use the slow digesting casein for my morning shakes and my nighttime shakes before bed with fiber, chocolate flavor. And I use the Hydro Whey, which I believe has no flavor, so it does taste a little bit like awkward skim milk, for my pre-workout and post-workout shakes. Why did I choose those? Casein digests much more slowly and it keeps you more full. So in my morning shake, that's a great idea, because I only eat one real meal per day, and I want to stay satiated or full until that meal. Before bed as well, because while I'm sleeping, slowly digesting. But obviously before a workout, I wanted that protein to digest instantly and not make me feel weighed down. So hydrolyzed whey before and after to get it into my system and get my recovery going as soon as possible.
How do you split your workouts and choose your intensity while you're in keto?
Okay, great question. Like, a lot of people think that on keto you automatically lose a ton of strength. And again, I'll admit, you will probably feel like you lost some at first. You'll get most of it back, maybe not 100%, but sometimes that's a sacrifice that I or you may be willing to take during a recomp or weight loss stage. I am. And the myth is that you have to change your workout. You don't. Like, you should be lifting the same way you did before, meaning hit your different rep ranges. As some of you may know, I like to do DUP, or daily undulating periodization. So I still keep up my low, medium, high intensity days. Maybe one thing I would change though is, like, if you're on keto cut, ironically during a cut, science shows that you should probably have more high intensity days. So I'm not saying lift heavier than before, but at least lift at a high intensity quite often to keep your muscle during a cut. So sometimes instead of doing low, medium, high, I might skip a low intensity day once in a while and like do medium, high, low, just to retain as much muscle mass as possible during the cut. Alright guys, so I'm nearing the end of this keto cutting series. I probably have one more video related to keto showing the changes or lack of changes in my 1 rep maxes. Other than that, maybe I'll show you guys how to do the targeted ketogenic diet, which means like having kind of some carbs before workout, now that I won't be caring as much about weight loss. So please leave your comments, questions down below, any requests related to keto or future content. And of course, like and subscribe. Yeah, baby. Peace. Oh, that's some heavy weight.
Yeah.
You look a little depleted. You know, something you could use. You said cookies are delicious, right?
I'm okay.
Don't you want one?
I've been traumatized.
What about before? That's what I thought.